Hi, I'm Glenn Gilmore. I'm an educator, a Microsoft ambassador, and for 8 years I had the privilege of serving as mayor of a community of about 90,000 people. Today I have with us Diana Parker, who is a Microsoft worldwide public sector government industry leader who has literally met with global leaders and have helped them make government services more efficient and more effective. And so I'm very thrilled to have a chance to ask her some questions and gain some insights. In the private sector, there's a notion of omni-channel. We want that experience for our constituent who, as you've pointed out, gets to make choices about the information they share, but also would like to be able to, wherever they might choose to connect with government, have this seamless sort of omnichannel experience. How is Microsoft helping the public sector achieve that experience as well?
So I think when we think about personalization, at its simplest, it's just about using the information you already probably have with on your constituents
Sure.
in a more thoughtful and intentional way and applying it in the right places. And I accept fully that oversimplifies, and there are lots of reasons why today we don't share data across agency boundaries, but governments really need to rethink that data strategy. That for me is at the core, because you can't have personalization without understanding the data that you have and being able to use it in the right places. And then regardless of channel, which of course is another reason for moving to the cloud, because it gives you that flexibility to be able to serve in many different ways. And ultimately, I guess the goal is to have the right services offered at the right time through the right channel, that notion of meeting your constituents where they are. And Microsoft offers a ton of tools ranging from customer relationship management to field service to machine learning to AI, of course, the big topic of the moment, and I'm sure we'll touch on it, that can be used to create personalized experiences. One example, for example, the Houston Fire Department. So their public safety rescue system built a solution called Emergency Telehealth and Navigation. And they used Microsoft's Teams platform to do that. And it was really about optimizing emergency response. So the way it was before the program, thousands of patients who had non-serious injuries were being transported to emergency rooms kind of just as a de facto part of the process, even when that wasn't the best solution necessarily for the patient, and certainly not for overworked or overcapacity emergency rooms. So to address that problem, this solution called Ethan, the Emergency Telehealth and Navigation, allows remote preliminary examinations of 911 calls through video conferencing. So it allows an emergency physician to actually on the spot make medical recommendations so that you can get that kind of initial triage done in a much more effective manner. And that meant that you could then reroute people who didn't need immediate ambulance rides. It reduces overcapacity in the emergency rooms. It saves public resources, and ultimately it improves patient outcomes, because nobody wants to sit in an emergency room if they don't have to. So that's just about saying we've got a patient right in front of us. We're going to use some technology to enable a connection, a remote connection to somebody who can provide a service. We're going to do that in the moment. And then we're going to be able to provide, in this case, the personalization is, is this an emergency room scenario, or are there other better ways that we could treat this patient? So a very real example of how you can create personalization in the moment.
Diana, you've just provided a wonderful example. I was going to ask you next, and again, you've woven into your answer an answer that goes to the next question I had, which is we in government have a mandate to be more efficient, to be more cost effective, without compromising constituent services. And you just gave a wonderful example of how that can be achieved. And I don't know if you wanted to touch on anything more in that respect, but really, I think you've just answered my next question, which is how does government become more efficient, achieve that mandate, while also improving governmental services? And you just gave a beautiful example of it.
I think this is so interesting because I think there are almost, I can't think of any examples where we haven't managed to achieve both, because so often what you're doing is you're putting in automation, which is increasing efficiency. Actually done well, a technology system shouldn't simply replicate an existing system. You should be thinking about what are the steps we really need to perform here. And by using technology, particularly AI, machine learning type technology, you can get insights that you never had before. And those insights can then let you make very different decisions.
And my thanks to you and Microsoft for inspiring us to understand how technology can be leveraged to make government and constituent services more efficient, more personalized, more secure, and create a better future for us all. Thank you so much, Diana.
Thank you, Glenn. Great to talk to you.
Likewise.